Meantime, President Biden taking a jab at Trump after the town hall, tweeting, quote, "It's simple, folks. Do you want 4 more years of that?" Well, a lot of people do.
Yes.
If you don't pitch into our campaign. I added the part in the middle. This is...
No, I ain't pitching a darn thing. Except for a tent outside of a Trump rally, baby. All right? I'm not pitching in a thing. Yeah, I said thing, not thing, okay? Absolutely not.
Both President Biden and former President Trump have kicked off their campaigns for the 2024 presidential election. And here's what the mainstream media had to say about all this.
And it was an interesting night. Mr. Trump's first lie was told just seconds into the night.
He never concedes.
Oh, we're going to dive more into all of this, the fallout from this.
Any era, he never concedes doing anything wrong.
If you're watching this, trying to figure out what's going to happen to America, you should be very worried.
This is a man who is so wholly unfit to be president of the United States.
Coming from the guy that was literally crying on national television. What wasn't that Van Jones that was crying? Wasn't that Van? Let me know. Let me know.
Okay.
Pretty
You
sure
should
that
be
was
very worried.
This is a man who is so wholly unfit to be president of the United States. I hope that was clear as day to viewers.
What we saw tonight was a series of extremely irresponsible decisions, and I could not have disagreed with it more. It was shameful.
Beverly Hallberg is the president of District Media and fellow at Independent Women's Forum, and she joins us now. Beverly, I've got to go to this full screen of comedian Joy Behar first. She tweeted the CNN thing as a joke. The audience is stacked with his cult. Caitlyn is good, but it's impossible to deal.
Stacked with his cult, even though polls show that he's beating Joe. Oh my. Oh. I see this stuff and I'm just like, do y'all ever wonder? I'm looking at the wrong camera. I'm looking at that camera and not that camera. I'm looking at this camera and not this one. Do y'all ever wonder why people like Joy Behar and all of the mainstream media don't give it up? Because polls have shown that the more that they've gone after Trump, the more people have rallied behind him. Because if I remember correctly, Trump was actually behind DeSantis at one point, or like tied. It was either close or Trump was actually behind. Like he didn't have the lead that he has now on DeSantis. So the harder and the more they go after this man, the more he rises. I don't get it. I really don't get it. I don't understand the strategy behind this. They have to see the same polls that we do. I know they do. And yet they don't get, they just won't. They refuse. And it baffles me. Am I the only one? Am I on the island right now? Y'all let me know in the comment section. Maybe I am, but it just baffles me. I'm watching the polls. I'm watching, this situation, that situation, indictment here, possible indictment there, and just continually rising. Oh, Trump had to go appear in court in New York. Support was doing this, then whoop, oh man.
Deal with this pathological liar. These people are saying the left is saying that it was a bad idea to have him on there for that town hall. But is it really a bad idea when he's the current front runner for the Republican?
The left always talks about threat to democracy, but they want to silence their political opponents. Even though we don't live in a democracy, I want to acknowledge that. Okay, if I ever forget to say that, don't jump on me, all right? I know the situation. I'm just forgetting to acknowledge it. I'm just saying what the left always says, threat to democracy, threat to democracy. We live in a constitutional republic. But, silencing your political opponents, if there was a threat to democracy, that sounds like it to me. Not running a DNC primary debate, that sounds like a threat to democracy to me. I don't know. Y'all tell me.
Nominee for 2024?
Well, it's a very good decision for CNN. Their CEO, Chris Licht, knows this. He knows it's not only going to boost ratings, and there's going to be a lot of talk about it following like we are today, but he's also trying to shake up the network, try to reach out more to independents, maybe even some Republicans. And so there were many Donald Trump fans in the audience. And look, whether you love Donald Trump or you...
Absolutely. And I'm sorry to keep pausing it. I do apologize about that. I know. I'm sorry. But I just have to touch on this because I think it's important that when even, left-wing things and people do the right thing, and we know that typically they have done the wrong thing, when they do the right thing, I think we should definitely support them, get behind them, and I think we can start shifting the culture that way. Obviously, we've seen what happened with the whole beer situation. All right, we've seen the fallout from that in what we are truly capable of when we take our dollars, when we say we're taking our dollars away from you because you're doing something that we don't agree with and we're moving on somewhere else. Okay, I think it's important that when a place like CNN says, you know what, we're going to give Uncle Trump a platform, we're going to put him on the main stage, on mainstream media, regardless of how you feel about CNN, and I'm sure we all feel the same way. I have to watch CNN, unfortunately. I think we should rally behind CNN in a situation like that. Now, beyond that, we don't have to. But as far as that goes, I think we should show some love and support for CNN. Any Trump, any videos that CNN drops of simply just Trump, I think we should support. Now, I don't agree with what CNN did afterwards, which we're going to dive into that in another video, but y'all let me know if y'all agree with that. Y'all let me know, because I think it could really shift things, because if CNN's struggling right now. CNN's struggling. Y'all have seen the numbers. We've all seen the numbers. So if CNN realizes, oh crap, when we air Trump, our ratings go through the roof, we make buku bucks, well, guess what they're going to have to do? Guess what they're going to start doing? Airing Trump. And guess what that does? You see what I mean? In my humble opinion, but y'all let me know how y'all feeling in the comment section, please.
You hate him. He is entertaining TV. And when we see Joe Biden out there, who clearly has lost a step, and then you see where Donald Trump is, it feels like 2016 all over again. Donald Trump has not lost a step. And I really think, too, one of the reasons why Donald Trump does this, not only does he love the spotlight, but whenever you can take on established media like he did with CNN, like he did with the moderator, for many Republicans, they see that as a good thing. So I think it was a win for CNN. It's a win for Donald Trump. And I even think it's a win for the liberals who hate him, because they get a lot of social media play from it as well.
When it comes to how Trump came off to the voter, which is ultimately all that matters in the end, how do you think he came off?
Well, I think he's the same as he's always been. Again, I think this is...
When it comes to how Trump came off to the voter, which is ultimately all that matters in the end, how do you think he came off?
Well, I think he's the same as he's always been. Again, I think this is 2016 all over again. I think we know exactly what to expect. The question is, where are voters right now? And I do think, as we've seen high inflation, record inflation, as you've seen many issues internationally, I think there are going to be more voters who are saying, if we're going to have Joe Biden again, I'm really concerned about the economy. I'm concerned about safety, what's going on the border. But is Donald Trump the man to win over those independents? Not everybody likes his style, even those who may find it entertaining at times. Maybe they are looking for a Ron DeSantis or another Republican who has a different demeanor. So I think it remains to be seen, but there is a reason why Donald Trump is the front runner. Many people want this country to go back to where it was under his leadership, because the policies are working far better for Americans.
Well, let's switch gears over to Kamala Harris. A new Fox News poll shows Vice President Kamala Harris's approval rating is sinking to new lows within her own party. So support from Democrats, it dropped 4 points between January and April. And her overall approval is 43%. I mean, even now the Democrats can't even deny it.
No, and here's the thing. It's not surprising that her poll numbers are like this. I guess what's surprising is that she's so bad at communicating and she can't point to anything as being successful as vice president. And I think it's actually a negative for President Joe Biden to have her as the number 2. If she was much more qualified, somebody who people feel like, well, if he doesn't fulfill a second term, she could step in. I think a lot of Democrats are rightly looking at this and saying, I don't know if she is the right person, but she is his VP, and she's going to be running with him, and so we shall see what Democrats do.
It's a curious dynamic to watch.
I'm shocked that her numbers are even that high. Hold on. My head's in the way. I'm sorry about that, guys. I'm shocked her number is even that high. 43%? How do you come to that conclusion? Huh. My goodness.
Will the fact that Kamala's on, which probably gave him a lot of votes in 2020, will that siphon off votes in 2024? Meantime, the White House says it can expel reporters who don't act professionally. White House sending an email Friday saying, quote, the White House expects that all hard pass holders will act in a professional manner while on White House grounds by respecting their colleagues, White House employees, and guests. Subsequent violations may lead to the suspension or revocation of your hard pass following.
Here they go. Here they go. Threat to democracy. Threat to democracy. Now you're kicking out reporters when they don't ask you the right questions? Okay.
Notice and an opportunity,
allegedly, of course,
to respond. And by professional, they clearly mean falling in line with the narratives put forth by the White House. What about that pesky First Amendment, Beverly?
Well,
I wonder what that means for Peter Doocy.
It's not unusual for there to be some guidelines when it comes to press briefings. Even under Trump's administration, former White House press secretary Sarah Huckabee Sanders issued a new rule when Jim Acosta with CNN would not hand over his microphone. So there was a very specific rule. When you're done with the question, you have to hand the microphone back. These are just vague. And the concern is that because of its vagueness, then you can have the administration use it against reporters who are holding their feet to the fire. So I would say if it was more specific, makes sense. We want there to be a level of decorum in press briefings. But at the same time, I think this is just going to be weaponized.
Let's remind everybody and the White House, the White House press office works for us. We pay their salaries. We are entitled to unfettered access. And all this shenanigans is just that.
Beverly Hallberg, thanks so much.
Wow. Wow. So now they're going to potentially be kicking out reporters under some broad, rule, which is just absolutely disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. And yeah, I mean, I don't agree with Trump on everything across the board. But listen, having him on stage once again is, I mean, that's absolute must-see TV. Must-see television. So that's one of the reasons why I was saying we should support CNN. Maybe they'll do it again. Maybe they'll have him on again. And the more you have him on, the higher his ratings go. The way that I see it. Of course, leftist media is going to try to paint this terrible picture. Oh no, Trump this terrible person. Why'd they air him? Blah, blah, blah. He talked about this and you know what I mean? Of course, we already know what they're going to do. But no matter what they've been saying, the polls have shown something completely different. Oh, Trump's this horrible, terrible person. There's no way he could possibly win. He wouldn't win by a long shot. Blah, blah, blah. There's no shot he could win. These folks aren't going to. Oh, polls came out. Trump up by 5 points. Trump up by 7 points. Trump has a 3-point lead. Trump has an 8-point lead or whatever, because obviously there's multiple different type, polls and things that people come out with. So there's numbers all over the place. But the fact of the matter is he's leading. So how does that work? How does that work? Now, there is a high amount of people or a high number of people that I think the last poll that I saw, there was like a 15% of people didn't choose either one. Or undecided. That's the word I was looking for. We're undecided. 15%, which is it's a huge number. It's a big number. I mean, you take 15% to either side, and I mean, that could mean an absolute blowout, or it could mean Joe, takes the W by, 7, 8, 9 points, whatever the case is. But I think one of the ways Trump could win those independents over is, one, by finding the perfect VP. And when I say perfect VP, I mean somebody that can bring people from the center. Maybe Vivek Ramaswamy is that guy. Maybe Larry Elder is that guy. Maybe Ron DeSantis is that guy. The jury's out on Ron DeSantis. I still got a lot of questions about him and some of the things that he's been, allegedly doing and allegedly saying. But maybe Ron DeSantis is that guy. Maybe somebody like Candace Owens. I don't know. Y'all tell me how y'all feeling. Who do y'all think he should pick as VP, and do you think that's a great strategy? But then also, one of the things is talking about people's suffering right now. What are they suffering with when CNN or anybody else tries to go off and talk about some old thing, which is what they always like to bring up, J6 this, J6 that, or whatever, they always do that. Oh, 2020 this, 2020 that, Trump should stop them and say, why are we focusing on the past? Why aren't we, Why aren't we focusing on what people are suffering with right now? Because the truth of the matter is, no matter what Democrats say, people feel what's actually going on. They feel their pockets. And I think Trump can really tap into that and shift the conversation to that and away from, any old negative stuff that the leftist media always tries to bring up constantly, that we always hear about. Even the town hall, they brought it up. Like one of the first things that was asked, which is just crazy. I think Trump needs to shift that conversation to, and let's talk about, economics and how we can get, the middle class back up and rolling again and roaring again. People are suffering right now, buying food on credit cards and paying for gas with credit cards and yada, yada, talking about that and how we can reshape America a little bit and get more money in people's pockets again. I think that would be a huge winning strategy against the left. That I don't think they could come back. I mean, they'll try, of course, but I don't think they could come back from that. But as always, y'all let me know how you feeling about all of this in the comment section below. Like, share, comment, hit that subscribe button before you go. Peace and love. I'm out.